Today is a day to celebrate you all being seniors and for you to be able to get your caps and gowns and order the things that you need. And Ms. Lopez is going to talk to you about some of the things coming up for counseling, for the, that you need to be aware of through counseling and through our career center and our college center. All right, so welcome everybody, and thank you for putting up with us just getting some things together, which means me, and I'm happy about that. So I'm Mrs. Penalora. I'm your Assistant Principal of Student Affairs. I'm here at lovely Rosemead High School, and I'm excited for you. So I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Lopez, and hopefully we can have her show her presentation. So we'll see.
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I know that we have limited time here, so we wanted to remind you from the counseling department that college application season is open. As you all already know, as seniors, a reminder that November 30th is going to be your filing deadline for UCs, and December 4th, your filing deadline for Cal State universities. The CSUs went ahead and offered a short extension due to all of the different situations that families have been experiencing here in the state of California. So keep that in mind. I know that I've heard from a couple of students that the SAT exam that they were enrolled in for November has now been canceled. So keep in mind that SAT and ACT testing is optional for your particular graduating class. It will not be necessary for you to submit scores in your college applications due to that situation. And then we also want you to keep in mind that filing periods for community colleges and out-of-state schools vary. So it is very important that you go ahead and log on to their particular websites to find out what their deadline dates are and what it is that they want you to complete by certain dates. So make sure that you look up those colleges in their specific websites. Next screen, please. We also want to remind you that financial aid season is open. The application is available to you already. You should be filling out a FAFSA application if you are a student who was born here in the United States. And you should be filling out a CADA or a California DREAM Act application if you are a student who was born out of country. Remember that the filing period for these two forms runs from October 1st, which already opened, and the deadline will be March 2nd. Though the deadline is not until next year, we want to encourage you to fill out the application as soon as possible. You will need your parents' 2019 tax information to fill out these forms. And you'll notice that you're going to start receiving, you probably as seniors are already receiving a lot of mailers from different universities and colleges. You're probably also receiving mailers from different companies or entities that are offering help to fill out the FAFSA or the CADA application. And many of these solicitations that go out to you either by mail or by email indicate that they'll help you fill out these forms, but you have to pay a fee to the company. At Rosemead High School, we want you to know that you should not be paying anyone any type of fee to fill out these forms. These are free forms that are available online to you, and we will be hosting financial aid nights to help you and your family members fill out these forms if that is necessary for you. In fact, an email has already gone out to your boxes from Ms. Magana sharing the first date available for one of those nights. Next slide. Which brings me now to letters of recommendation. So we know that the filing period for your applications is open. And at this time, you might find that you are applying to a particular school that is asking for a letter of recommendation. It is important that you ask your recommenders now. If you have not already done so, you don't want too much time to go by. You need to already start talking to the different individuals that you're going to select to potentially write your letters of recommendation. Keep in mind that recommenders should not be asked to work during their holiday breaks. That is why it's important to reach out to those potential teachers, to those potential community members, and even your counselors if you are going to ask for a letter of recommendation. Now, depending on the depending on the institution that you're applying to, depending what you need this letter of recommendation for, you should keep that in mind so that you can select your recommenders wisely. When you're asking somebody for a recommendation, you're asking somebody to be able to write as to the type of individual that you are. You are asking someone to be able to speak on your behalf. Make sure that there is a connection between you and the person that you are asking to write these letters of rec for you. When you ask them to write these letters, make sure that you include a brag sheet and a personal resume, and also that you set some time to talk to them one-on-one so that they can have a session with you where it's a Q&A session where they're learning a little bit more about you, gathering information to be able to include in that letter of recommendation, okay? And then last but not least, once that letter of recommendation is submitted, we want to remind you that it is always important to go back and thank your recommender for that extra time that they took and sending this out to you, sending this out for you. I also want to remind you that when you are applying through platforms like Common App and you ask a counselor for a school profile or a school report, the counselor has to also include a letter of recommendation. So don't assume that simply by listing the counselor name, there's no letter of rec tied. The counselor automatically has to write a letter of recommendation for you. So the counselor doesn't have an option to opt out. It is very important that you do set an appointment one-on-one with your counselor to let them know that you will be using one of those platforms to apply so that they get ready in writing your letter of recommendation. Next slide. Again, I mentioned that financial aid season is open, so college and financial aid help is available through our College and Career Center. Please make sure that you are part of the Google Classroom that has been created through our College and Career Center so that you can receive updates and reminders. You can contact Ms. Magana directly at her email address if you want to take a screenshot right now, and Ms. Quinones, Ms. Isabella Quinones, who is our USC advisor that works with us through our college and career counselor. They are both available to help you with any questions that might come up as you fill out the FAFSA or CADA application. And then we also want to remind you that you can continue to get up-to-date college information by following our College and Career Center through Instagram, and you have the handle there. Next slide. Now, you should have all received an email earlier this week inviting you to our college kickoff event, which will take place this Saturday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So this particular flyer should look very familiar to you. We encourage you to register by clicking the link that's embedded in the flyer that was sent out to your email addresses and participate in these workshops. We are also planning to record the workshops so that they do become available to our students at a later date. Next slide.
Oh, I just wanted to jump in really quickly and remind you that I just sent the whole senior class a senior agreement, and to go ahead and read through that. The senior contract or the senior agreement just reminds you that there are behavioral expectations that we expect you to adhere to throughout your year at your last year, your senior year, and we want your parents to sign it and you to sign it, and then to send it back to Ms. Trigo in the activities office. So you can take the time to read through it, but it's due in a couple of weeks, okay? And then I think there's one more slide, maybe, Ms. Lopez.
And I will close off. I believe this was our last slide,
it.
Ms. Laura, but I will close off by reminding seniors, we do have a pending counselor change that is going to go into effect this coming Monday. You've been emailed about that upcoming counselor change. It was also announced in the grade level assembly that was sent out last Friday. So make sure that you go back to look for that in your email or view that within the grade level assembly. Counselor letters will be shifted. Myself, Mrs. Lopez, I will be working with students with last names at letters A through GA. And then Mrs. Elaine Rodriguez will be working with students whose last names begins with letters GB through MAC. And then Ms. Ferris will be working with students whose last names begins with the letters MAD all the way through RUI. And Mrs. Nguyen will go ahead and close off our alphabet by working with students with the letters RUJ through Z. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Did that come out also in an email to the students for the shift in counselor?
Yes, that went out in an email last Monday.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll be okay there. Hey, so before I share my screen really quick, guys, just wanted to let you know. So got these right here on my finger. Might notice a little extra bling here. These aren't class rings, just so you know. These are Super Bowl rings, actually, and that's because Jostens has since the very first Super Bowl has produced those. But I'm going to get into that a little bit into the presentation. Normally, when I talk to you guys live, though, I get to show this to you. So here you go. All right. And so now we'll go into the presentation. All right. Okay, so you should see my screen now. Now I'm going to pull up the presentation. Just got to get right here. Here we go. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. Okay, so it says your year is here. You know, every year just seems totally different. Last year, obviously, was very different. I went from my graduation when I was a student. It rained the entire graduation ceremony, actually, and it was completely unexpected. So we all sat down in our seats. It was a nice day most of the day, sat down, and then just boom, a thunderstorm hit. And we all got completely drenched. Everyone's thinking that I'm sitting next to, it's a disaster. Well, two things happened. One is about the middle of the ceremony, when everyone's completely drenched, I looked up into the stands and I saw a couple things. One is I saw my mom and dad standing up in the rain. They did not leave the ceremony, and I expected that they would have, but they were there just getting drenched, no umbrella, with everyone else. Then I saw my grandparents next to them. They weren't standing, they were sitting, just shaking, just hoping they're not going to die at that moment because it was such an intense cold rain. But they were there too. But what I realized a little bit after that, I looked around the stadium and I realized my family's not that special, because I looked around the stadium and everyone was still there that I could see. They're still taking pictures. They're still cheering for their graduate. And that helped me to see that it's the moment, it's the event. And it's the same thing you guys are going to experience. Last year, even, people found ways to celebrate in their cap and gown, right? You saw people driving through the school to pick up their cap and gown in their car. You had people having drive-through graduation ceremonies. I mean, you guys found a way to celebrate. So my time wasn't unique. You guys have the same thing. What I want to do now, though, is show you guys not only what we need to do, but what we want to make sure that we don't do. So that first, we're going to see what we need to do. We need to celebrate with some emotion. So here we go. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, you can hear the music?
Yes.
Our year
Okay.
and our time to shine is now. We have worked hard for this day for 13 years, and it has finally arrived. Graduates, as you walk across this stage and receive your well-earned diploma, hold your head high and let your pride shine. Always do what's right, follow your heart, and never ever forget where you came from. As you look forward to your future, don't forget our past. Although this is the end, this is also a beginning. This is not goodbye, it is simply until next time. Congratulations. This is the start of something good. This is the promise of what will be. This is the start of something good. Tomorrow looks good. Tomorrow looks good. This is the start of something good. This is the promise.
You know what, guys? I saw plenty of that even last year with all that you guys went through. So I'm going to let that sink in a moment. So let's look at what we do need to do in order to make sure we're ready. All of you would have received a packet in the mail, rather large packet. It had, one of the things it had was an order form. It was a 4-page order form. This is just the front page of it. But I wanted to point out just something important on there. Now, first of all, the Panther package, that's the most popular package that students get. And you can see why. It's got the free cap and gown in there. It's got just the things that the students tend to like. But the important part actually I wanted to point to was the bottom part where we mentioned some different things with the order deadlines and so forth. So there were some specific reasons we did that, but you can ignore everything it says there with regard to order deadline. If you have a pen, please just write down this date. It's going to be Saturday, October 24th, and it's going to be online or by mail. So we're no longer going to be taking orders at the school. There's no longer going to be pictures next week. That date's going to be determined, and so that's why we're not coming to the school to take orders. It's for the student safety. So it's going to be all virtual. Place your orders online. We're going to have some promotions and some fun stuff for that. So again, it's October 24th. If you know any friends that are planning to come to the school the 20th through the 23rd to place the order that aren't on this Zoom meeting, please stop them. Okay, so next, oh, go ahead.
Mr. Partridge, I'll put out an email to that effect too. And at the very end, I'll talk to you guys about our portrait situation and what our next steps are. Okay?
Perfect, yeah. Okay, and then I'm gonna just go through what's in that Panther package that is up there because that's going to cover most of the stuff. And then when you get home and you look at this stuff and you just want to look at some different packages, you can choose which one you like. And this one's just kind of the all-encompassing one. So the first thing is your cap and gown. So that's cap, gown, and tassel. You have obviously the Rosemead colors for that. So you can have your cap and gown. That's going to be free in that package. Also, you have your custom graduation announcements. So these are geared toward the school. It's going to have your school name, your traditional school design that you've had for a very long time, and it will have the date, time, and place that you are a graduate, just like your diploma would have that information on there. And that's the traditional part. I'll skip this video and we'll go to a sample one. That's what one looks like. You see a name card here, which is included in your package to even put your name inside. What people like to do is they mail these out, and friends, relatives, I mean, there's a lot of stories I've heard people getting a lot of money from their friends and relatives, just like when I've had, well, not when I've had babies, but when my wife has had babies, we sent out birth announcements and we got a lot of gifts from people. This is the next time in your life where you get to do that, and people like to help you out when you're a high school graduate. Now, one of the things you get in the package is these photo cards. So it's optional if you want to create one, but we let you do it. Once your package is paid in full, you create a photo card that might say, for example, Danielle Gutierrez, attending University of Millbridge in the fall, or here's where I'm working. My graduation party is this time and date. These are so flexible. You can just do what you want with it, but it's called like a next steps card that you insert inside of your graduation announcement. I'm going to show you the fun stuff that's in that package too. First thing is your hoodie. For the first time this year, we're actually going to let you choose between 3 different hoodies. Each individual student can make their own choice. This is the pullover hoodie. It's embroidered. This is how it looks on someone. This is the performance hoodie, like when we do clothing for colleges and so forth, when it's more of the dry fit style material. It's not dry fit, it's our own, but it's that style and it's still embroidered. And then here is the Sherpa. We have several people that really like this one, especially the way it looks on someone. So you get to choose between those 3 in that package. And then the keychain is something that it's going to be the smallest thing in your package, but it really is probably going to be the thing you keep the longest because of 2 reasons. One, once you put your keys on something, it tends to be something you keep a long time. You see old keychains in your house all the time. But the other thing is it has your graduation year And when something has your graduation year, it just is something that's special and that I see students keep a very long time. This is my favorite because your tassel is something that, okay, this one, that's the third one down. This is the one that comes with your cap and gown. And again, obviously it's going to be in your Rosemead colors, not one of these colors, but it's with the small 2-1, just basic. But in the package, you get to choose an additional tassel. So it might be the stacked tassel with the numbers stacked up and down. Remember these names because this is how you're going to know what to mark off online or on the order form. This is called the status tassel because you got inside of that 21, you have 21 genuine fake diamonds inside of that tassel. And then the last one is that's a stacked tassel also, but actually the last one, it's custom for your school. So that's why it's not on here, is you have a panther. It's called the mascot tassel. And it'll have the graduation year on that. So, you know, you might just take it, hang it up in the review mirror of your car. A lot of people do that. If you have the status tassel, you might blind someone with that. Or if you're really cool like me, I was riding my bike all over the place my senior year. Get an extra one, put one on each handlebar. You got streamers as you're riding your bike. You could do whatever you want. You just got to buy an extra tassel if you do that. Okay, you have the beanie that comes in it. So that's going to be there. And you have your senior bag. We used to give just a plastic bag at the order table, but now that you're placing the orders online, a bag's going to be sent with it. You can put all your senior stuff and bring it wherever you go. How's that for a deal?
All right. That's awesome. So I know that you have a little bit more to do. We have about 4 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna run through it. So next thing is your deluxe grad frame. That's just an additional thing you can choose on there. A lot of persons got it last year, so that's why I included it there. And okay, I think I'm going to skip the first video here, but I'm going to show the second and then show you what the special offer is, and that'll close it out. Okay. So the first video was showing some pro teams getting their rings. I'm going to skip that. Yeah. But this one is our biggest customer, the one that's bought the most rings from us.
Super Bowl champions, open your rings now. The ring just, it symbolizes so many things, and more than just, something you wear in your hand, with the memories you have in your mind and your heart is what really will, you'll remember for the rest of your life.
Okay, so no less dramatic than the pro championship ring. You have your high school class rings. We've been doing those since 1897. And yes, once you open your ring box you get in the mail, you will look just like that. Okay, and so you are going to have the same craftsmen that make Tom Brady's rings. They're going to take your instructions online like you see there and make your ring. And you have 4 steps. You choose your style, your stone, your metal, and your finish. Your style, you see several different styles there. Your stone, see a lot of different stones. I'm going to skip the video and we're going to go to this part on the metal. So see the big variety of metals you can choose from. Then finally, the finish. A lot of people will engrave their name in it. Sometimes they put the name of someone important to them in there, which is nice.
Nice.
Okay. And then here's where you can, you guys will have a ring sizer, so you don't need this. Here's the deal. So we're going to do, if you put in the code FREECG when you order your class jewelry, you'll get, on most rings, you'll get $40 off that class jewelry. And on any ring, you're going to get this companion ring that you see here. All you do is, we're going to mail it to you the same week that you place the order. And then once you get it, you get to put it on, wear it until your custom ring comes about 4 weeks later. And then Once you get your custom ring, you take that ring off, hand it to the person in your life that you feel has inspired you the most, whether it's a teacher, counselor, your mom and dad, and give them the ring. And then they have something to wear while you wear your class ring. And then, so if you do these things, you'll get this. And then last, do we have a second to give away something to the students? It's just, they pull out their phones. It's a contest. I'm going to give something away.
I guess we have 2 minutes.
All right. Okay, I'll jump on it. So guys, if you can pull out your phones really quick, just go here on Instagram to Jostens Grad Style. Right now, I'm going to give 2 free t-shirts to somebody. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 second because we got to wrap it up.
Ms. Partridge, while we wrap it up, someone asked, are we only able to purchase the cap and gown? And how much does it cost on its own?
Yeah, so it's $35, purchase the cap, gown, and tassel. It's on the individual items page of your 4-page flyer. So there's 4 pages on there. It's on the individual items page.
Okay. All right, you guys. Mr. Partridge, is somebody gonna receive something right now?
Yep, in 2 seconds, it's going to be Yen Nguyen. So YENN_NWIN. So go ahead and DM me after this meeting and we'll get your mailing address and we'll go ahead and mail you the 2 free t-shirts.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We thank you, and thanks everybody for coming today. More information will come when we talk about senior portraits. We had expected some dates this next week to happen, but due to COVID and the Department of Public Health, we cannot do it as we planned, so we have to readjust, and we'll put out the information to you as soon as we can. But you have the option to purchase your caps and gowns in advance, and there are deadlines there, so please go to the Jostens website, and if you have other questions, we're more than happy to help you out. We have Mr. Partridge able to respond to you through email, but I also have information for you. So just please look out for your emails, and we'll post this video on our activities page and on our front homepage. So thanks everybody, go to class. All right, bye seniors.
Thank you.
Thank you.